Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Rig It On Monday. Boy, Jordan, I tell you what, it's a beautiful day here in Alabama. I mean, you having to sit here and work today, and I'd much rather be out on the lake trying to catch a fish for sure. Thought today, being it was such a pretty day, we talked a little bit about trick sticks, and I'm going to get to that in just a minute. But before we do, I always do some kind of clothing advertisement. So today I want to talk about our Big Bite Super Micro shirt. A lot of people call it a waffle type shirt. It's the type of shirt that I wear during the summer months. This particular shirt I have on comes in 4 colors. It's super cool. When you're running down the lake, the wind just goes right through it like it's vented all over, and it wears real well, and it's very good for the summertime of the year. It comes in 4 colors: blue, black, red, and a steel, which is a gray color. So if you hadn't gotten one of these and tried them, give it a try. I think you'll like it, okay? So that's our clothing advertisement for today. All right, questions for this week, Jordan. I know we got something there for sure.
Sure, absolutely. I have one from our man Joseph Horn.
All right, Joseph.
What is your favorite type of fishing, and what techniques do you like to use?
Well, I like to do a lot of different things. I probably, if I was going to pick the last resort up, something I would always fall back on would be some type of plastic on probably a Texas rig of some variety. I mean, I like to do all different types of things, but that's probably what I would fall back to. Anytime I'm struggling, I seem to revert back to that and try to get a bite on that. Using either a fighting frog or a worm or a shaky head, something along those lines.
Okay, here's one from Owen Brown. This is an interesting one. When do you use a spinnerbait over a chatterbait?
I like a spinnerbait when the water is a little warmer and it is very stained. It seems that the vibration works a lot better off the spinnerbait. A chatterbait I typically like better in a little cooler water.
Okay.
So if it's say in the mid 60s to the early 70s, then I'll try a spinnerbait, and I really like a spinnerbait on a shad spawn too. So that's the times I would pick up a spinnerbait for sure.
Okay, I've got a couple more here. I'll just take note of them and let you do your show.
All right, while we roll, let's roll, man.
How about from Lickety Split? What is the best bait for murky water?
Then there we go back to the chatterbait, Lickety. That's something I really like to throw in stained up murky water as a chatterbait, or either some type of dark plastic, maybe a craw tube or some type of dark fighting frog, something, maybe a kamikaze craw in a dark color, something dark and compact, definitely.
Okay, perfect. Well, that's it for right now.
Okay, all right. Well, let's talk about the trick stick today. I thought that's something we might want to go back and talk about. I'm going to give you 3 ways that you can rig it and talk a little bit about it. Now, we make our Big Bite trick stick, which is one of our best-selling baits. We make it in 4 sizes. It comes in a 4-inch, a 5-inch, a 6-inch, and a 7-inch. Now, this is your typical standard 5-inch trick stick type stick bait that's very, very popular. And then I was going to show, I have a 6-inch here on the rig. I'll go ahead and show you. This is a typical 6-inch bait. It's not much bigger in diameter. It's just a hair longer. And then if you really want to step it up, you can go to the 7-inch. And it's a little meatier in the middle. Mm-hmm. Not as meaty as our fat stick, but close. And as you can see, it's quite a bit longer than a 5 stick. It's a lot heavier bait. So if you really want a meaty, heavy type trick stick, this is the one you can go to. Now, I do want to talk about the 5-inch trick stick comes in 57 colors. So you surely you can find something in that color range that you would like, okay? For me, it's just old green pumpkin. I like old green pumpkin. A lot of people's gonna tell you watermelon red because that's the #1 selling color. I'm either gonna throw it normally either green pumpkin or hematoma. That seems to be the 2 that I do the best on. But if you decide to go up to the 6 or 7-inch models, I do want to tell you that when you look at our catalog, to make sure you check the colors that's offered in. We don't offer the 7 and the 6 in as many colors as we do the 5, but you can read the catalog. I believe we have a red and a black dot in the catalog that designates those that are offered in 6 and 7-inch models. So in your 7-inch, we've got the standard colors as well as your 6-inch. Some of the good old standby colors. We just don't do as many jazzy colors as we do in the 5-inch trick stick. So let's talk a little bit about, Jordan, how to rig them.
Okay.
Obviously, most people throw a Senko. A lot of people throw it weightless, or they'll throw it with some type of light lead, okay? That's how I like to throw it, okay? And you can either use a regular J hook like I've got in here, or you can use a wide gap hook, whichever you prefer to use. But that's just your typical Texas Senko rig. And you can even go lighter lead than this. You know, you can go as lighter, as heavy as you'd like to. But that's one of the ways that it works really well. I personally catch a lot of fish this way. It's my favorite way to fish it, okay? All right, now, You might, a lot of the guys like to obviously do the wacky rig. Now you can rig a trick stick on our wacky jig head, and it doesn't have to have an O-ring in it to make it work. Obviously, I'm not going to lie to you, it's going to tear up more doing it this way, but it also gets that same natural presentation and works real well. So you can do it on a wacky rig. And I do want to point out that we do make a hook and jig. We call it the wacky head, that is made specifically to do this with. So if you're looking for a type of hook that you like to use, try our wacky head. So that's your rig right there, okay?
Right.
And then I tried to come up and be a little creative, ways you might want to try it. So I thought, why not take our 6-inch trick stick and put it on a half-ounce shaky head and turn it into a summer bait. I think that'll work real well. This is a BBTW 1/2 ounce. And of course, it's got a 6-inch black and blue trick stick on it. I thought that was kind of something we could come across that was a little bit different. And I'm sure some of you guys got some other ways to rig. I tell you what we're going to do today, Jordan. I'll give out a 40% off coupon card to whoever can send us the neatest way to rig one that's different. And you send those to Jordan, let Jordan decide, and we'll send a coupon out for our giveaway today to whoever thinks they can come up with an unusual way to rig a particular trick stick. So food for thought. Any questions on that today? We got anybody in there communicating with us?
Yes, absolutely.
Great.
What size hook do you use for that Texas rig right there?
I like to use a 5/0 mine. Now that may be overkill, but I like to use, a lot of people probably just go to a 4/0, but I like to use a light wire 5/0 Gamakatsu wide gap hook when I fish mine. I just like to get that bite. I'm just an EWG guy. I really like that style of hook. And it seems the hookup ratio is real good on it. So I always felt like bigger hook, the better that you can get away with. So that's kind of how I look at it.
Okay. And then I have not necessarily a question, but a comment.
Okay.
Which is tilapia is the greatest color of all time.
That's awesome, man. I remember when we first came out with tilapia and how it took by storm, and it's now one of our top selling colors. And it's just been a neat color. And I just don't know how many fish I personally know that people have caught, friends of mine and myself and my family had caught on tilapia. It's just a really good fish catching color. No matter where you go, it seems to work really well. So I definitely agree with you on that for sure. That's a good comment, definitely.
All right, Mason Fontenot wants to know, what's your favorite crawl bait?
That's kind of tough, Mason. You can put me on the spot today. Well, even though we call it a fighting frog, it's a crawl style bait. I like it a lot. And I like the old craw tube. That craw tube is really deadly in the spring, especially if you're pitching in shallow water where you think maybe it's stained up and you think there might be some beds. They seem to like that a lot. So I'd probably go with one of those two baits, definitely, is in my crawl line for sure.
Okay, and then one more to follow up on the hook question. What size weight is on that Texas rig?
I think this is an 1/8 ounce, but you don't necessarily have to go with an 1/8. You could go with a 16th is what I usually use. Something I try to use the lightest lead I can get away with and be able to cast it. Okay. I like to use a little bitty tiny piece of tungsten. I didn't have one of them in my office today to put on, but I'll use a little bitty piece of tungsten. It's probably tungsten's a little heavier, so you can downsize your lead, but I found the least bit there, the better. I just want to have enough out there to cast it. And that's kind of what I look at on that. So right here, I believe this is an 1/8 ounce I've got on here, just to kind of give you an idea. So,
okay.
But that's pretty neat for sure. And that will catch a fish, I can assure you. And let me give you a little tip about that. You can go behind somebody if they're not throwing a trick stick. If you see a guy in the bank ahead of you, don't be scared to come behind him throwing that trick stick behind him. You'd be amazed what might happen. So, little point for the day. Anyway, if that's everything, that's all of our questions. We've enjoyed it. We'll look forward to seeing everybody next Monday here at Big Bite Baits again.